Hello and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. My name is Austin Dakuda, and joining me in the studio today is head coach of the Dean Bulldogs football team, Coach Steve Terrell. Coach, congratulations on your team winning the Eastern Collegiate Football Conference this year.
Austin, thank you. Really proud of our team for this accomplishment. We're only in our fourth year of transition. It's the third time that we've had an opportunity to make this happen. So for it to have happened this early in the process before we're even fully sanctioned, is a great thing for the program.
That's great. And since we last spoke, your team has played 2 games. You had a win at home against Alfred State, 50-46, and an exciting game, a high-scoring game, and a game in which quarterback Terrell Watts threw for 7 touchdown passes. He was named ECFC Player of the Week for the second consecutive week going back to that game. And in that game, he threw 5 touchdown passes to Earl Bro as well. Was the game plan to focus on getting Bro the football, or was that just kind of how the game flowed?
So when we put our game plan together, we really look at an even distribution of all of our talent and the best way to get that talent involved in the game. But as the game materialized, the 2 best players offensively on the field kind of rose. And, with a chance to really solidify and win the conference on that day, Terrell stepped up big. And to have 7 touchdown passes in a game, I can't tell you when I've been a part of anything like that myself personally. And then Errol's just been our one solid factor of the whole year. He's just been a tremendous force as a wide receiver, a kick return, and all the things we ask him to do. He's such a threat out there. He makes all the guys around him better. And so the 2 of them combining for that day wasn't a surprise, but it surely was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a special day, and getting to commentate that game too. There were so many exciting calls I had during that game, and you guys were able to pull up on top 50-46 in a high-powered game. And one of the favorite moments from that game, and one of the key plays, was the fake punt pass from Quintus Reed to Shannon Moxie. Now, let me ask you, Coach, is that a play that's been in your playbook all season long, or one that was kind of designed for that Alfred State game?
So my method with special teams is to always have something in my pocket in case we needed it. Mm-hmm. And we had run a fake earlier, and we'd run a run play with Quintus and a big play a few weeks back, and a same result. Kept the drive going, and we ended up scoring at the start of the next half, and the situation just reoccurred. It's a play we had practiced the last couple of weeks since that last play. We try to keep progressing and building off what we're doing, and so we had practiced that for a couple of weeks. There's no one that I have more trust in than Quintus Reed. He's just one of the most reliable people in our program. He's a great young man, and anything asked of him, he does. And I knew he'd deliver the ball, and there was no question Moxie was going to take advantage of his opportunity to catch it, and then he took it a step further and made sure he got in the end zone. So it was a great turning point. It got us the 10-point lead that we needed to hold on to, because in all honesty, that was a little too exciting for me. I usually like to play a little bit better defense on our side, but same thing, they're a high-powered team as well, and we just needed to get ourselves one step above them, and that's what happened in that transition.
And in such a close game, it came down to the wire where Alfred State had a couple drives where they could have gone down the field to score and put themselves on top. How do you keep your defense focused and kind of calm throughout a close game like that?
So we kept talking about how we were going to eventually have to in order to win the game, we were going to have to step up and make the plays. And we'd come close with just a couple big plays over our head, kept them alive in that second half. But down the stretch, we had we couldn't get the first down in our last 2 series to put the ball away, and we had to put the defense out there twice. And in both situations, we got the turnovers to get the ball back and end the football game. So I was really proud of the way that they hung in there together as a group. They showed some maturity even through adversity, and found a way to persevere and win at the end and make those plays. It was a great accomplishment by them.
Now, going to last week's game against Castleton, it was a little bit of a different outcome. The Bulldogs fell 38-20. Now, what was the biggest difference from the Alfred State game into the game against Castleton on Senior Day?
Sure, we had a couple miscues that we haven't had in the past. The breakdowns in the kicking game were really the huge factor. To get a punt blocked, which we hadn't done since our opening game, to get a punt blocked and result in a next play touchdown, and then to have a kick return, which we haven't let one of those hit the ground in weeks as well. We've thought we'd fixed all those problems, and unfortunately the ball hit the ground and we didn't recover it, and then the next play they were in the end zone again. And it's that quick transition in the first half that led to the result. We couldn't recover from those 2 scores. Otherwise, Terrell, he's never, you can't ask an athlete to be perfect every time he steps on the field. He still ended up throwing for 400 yards. but the turnovers, came back and got us. And whenever we throw the ball that much and the result turns into turnovers, we don't have very much success. So not getting our running game going early, but we fell behind, and it kind of took away from that opportunity. We got out of our game plan too fast. And, and losing Nick, who was kind of our heart and soul on our defense, to that targeting call early, that was a setback as well, because, Nick's backup hasn't played a whole lot, if any.
Right.
And so we, in the 8th, 7th play of the game, we lose him for the entire game. And, we had to really bounce back from that.
Yeah, and as you said, Terrell Watts had a great game throwing the ball against Castleton with over 400 yards passing, and he had a great season all year long, leading your team to the ECFC championship. Now, personally, what does winning the conference mean to you?
It's a special thing, because you don't know when the last time or the next time you're going to win a conference championship.
Right.
When you win them, sometimes you think, oh, we'll just win it again next year. But they're hard. It's hard to win, and it's hard to be a champion. And so for these guys this early in the process to have achieved this goal is a great, accomplishment. It's going to help us hopefully in the recruiting process. So guys understand, if this was next year, even with our record at 4-5, as a fully sanctioned team, we would be going to the NCAA playoffs right now. So our conference champion has an automatic seat there. So being a champion this year and then being able to keep building upon what we're doing and being able to sell the opportunity of playing in the national playoffs is hopefully going to help us, in the future of our program, bringing in better and better players as we go.
Now, looking towards next season, how and when do you start building for that next year?
I tell everybody, that's a great question. A lot of people ask me, but recruiting is 13 months a year. It never stops. So we've already begun next year's recruiting. And really it kicks into gear, more personally once we get the season over. We get on the road and get into the high schools and work on our relationships. And we do a lot of out-of-state recruiting. We go down to Georgia and Texas and Florida and those places and really rely on that as much as we do our Northeast recruiting. So we'll be busy. It's a busy time of the year for us to get out there and start finding more Bulldogs to come into the program.
Well, Coach, it was a great year, and I want to thank you once again for joining me here on Coach's Corner. I'm Austin Dakuda, and we'll see you next time on Dean News Network.